Everything you heard about bloating and looking puffy on TRT is only 20% of what's actually causing it. You might think it's your estrogen, your sodium, your dose, just water weight from the injections. But when you dig deeper, it's your gut barrier breaking down and your liver falling behind on clearing the inflammatory load TRT is dumping on it. That backup, that's what's showing up as water retention, weight gain, and bloat sitting in your stomach and your face. You didn't start TRT to look soft and puffy though. You started to look jacked and lean and masculine. The exact look testosterone is supposed to give you. So the next 10 minutes, I'm gonna show you exactly how to clear that back up really fast and get rid of the bloating for good. If you're new here, my name is Trigili, former IB Pro bodybuilder and performance coach. Quick housekeeping though, nothing on this channel is medical advice. What I share is educational. It's built from 2 decades of real world experience. So you can have the conversations your doctor is not having with you. And always remember to talk to a medical professional before starting any or adjusting any hormone protocol. Let's get into it. Section 1, your gut. This is the first system where it all begins. Right in your gut. When you start testosterone, it's not just your hormone levels that change. Your body starts producing more DHT, more estrogen byproducts, more inflammatory waste than ever has to deal with before. And all that waste has to run through your gut lining before it actually reaches the rest of your body. And it shows up in 2 different ways. 1, your face looks rounder in the mirror than it did the night before. It's not good. 2, your waistband gets tighter even though you ate the same meals you always eat. One of those is fluid. The other is your stomach itself sitting distended after you eat. So what do most guys do here? They cut gluten, they cut dairy, they run elimination diets, they track every calorie. And the bloating doesn't even move. Here's why. When your gut lining is already overloaded and it starts breaking down, bacterial toxins called LPS start leaking straight through into your bloodstream. And now your immune system floods your body with inflammatory signals. And those signals pull fluid directly into your tissue. So here's how you actually close that leak. Remove these 4 things first. 1, the liquid calories gotta go. The sugary drinks, the junk pre-workouts, the 3 protein shakes a day, get rid of them. 2, processed food and seed oils. Has to go. 3rd, you're not gonna like this one, alcohol. 4, you're not gonna like this one either, NSAIDs. This is the ibuprofens you throw down for every little ache, your Advil, your Tylenols. And then add 2 things back in, L-glutamine or I should say zinc. To rebuild the lining itself, you need to add fermented foods and spore-based probiotics to rebalance the bacteria living in your gut. Now, if you want to accelerate that rebuild phase, here are the peptides I would add. First one, BPC 157, non-negotiable. This is the one I reach for first when people have a gut-driven bloat issue. Because it supports all the healing of the gut lining directly, it accelerates the tissue repair, it calms down the local inflammation from keeping that lining from closing back up. And heads up, if you start BPC, you might get some loose stool for the first couple weeks. It's very normal. But if it sticks around or gets worse, check in with your provider before you keep going. Second, KPV. This is a tripeptide that works almost like a targeted anti-inflammatory, specifically inside your gut though. It calms down the immune response, driving all the swelling, inflammation, without suppressing your immune system everywhere else. Now I just threw a lot of information at you. 4 things to cut, 2 things to add, 2 peptides to time in. If you're sitting here thinking, you want to piece this all together by yourself, that's exactly what we do for you guys inside our coaching program. We build it around your labs, your protocol, your body, not a template. The first link in the description, book a free assessment call. And then we're gonna get right back into this because the next part is where it really starts to click for you. So those 2 peptides are doing what the diet changes do, just faster and right at the site of all the damage, like right there. And I've watched this exact protocol work in real time on myself and also Lloyd. He came into our program in February 2026. He's 55 years old on TRT, dealing with exactly what we're talking about right now. Bloated, the distended look in the stomach that would not go away no matter what he cut out, and a handful of other TRT side effects that stacked on top of that. We didn't touch his testosterone dose. We started here with his gut. And 12 weeks later, guess what? The bloating was gone. The distended belly was gone. And the side effects he walked around with were under control for the first time in years. And this is why we start with the gut for almost every single client. Not all, but a lot of them. Because it lets them actually absorb the food they're eating instead of flushing half of it down the toilet. Once your gut is working, your metabolism, your hormones, your body composition, all of it starts to follow up. Guys who couldn't drop fat no matter what, no matter how hard they cut, actually start losing weight again. Some of them eat more food than they did before and lose fat faster because the problem was never the calories. It was the gut was too inflamed to do anything productive for them. You could have the perfect macros, you could have the perfect split, the perfect TRT protocol, and still spin your wheels if your gut is the bottleneck that the system runs through. But fixing the gut wall only solves half of it. With even a clean gut, can't clear what's already backed up behind it. And right now, the backup is sitting in your liver. Section 2, the liver. The second system carrying this backup is always going to be your liver, and I bet it's already working overtime because every estrogen metabolite, every byproduct from testosterone, every inflammatory signal off that gut lining gets routed right to the liver to be cleared. And when your liver keeps up, none of the side effects show. The clearance happens quietly in the background and you never even think about it. But when it can't, it shows up that night, tight and swollen, feeling right under your ribs, and a stomach that looks distended no matter how clean you eat. And guess what? Here's the trap. Most guys still think this is a digestion problem. They reach for the digestive enzymes and they blame whatever they ate that day. But your liver is clearing the hormones and the toxins through your bile. When that bile flow starts to slow down now, it's like a drain running slower than the water filling the sink. Everything behind it just keeps piling up. So first, let's check 2 markers on your next blood panel, ALT, AST. Now listen to this, because this is the part that gets me. The range on your lab might go from 40 and still get called normal. The number I actually want to see is under 20 to 25 on both of those. Normal and optimal, not the same word, guys. The third marker, GGT. Yeah, this one flags the bile duct backup. Now, the liver clearance that happens in the 2 phases, stay with me here, this really matters because phase 1 breaks the hormones and toxins down into an immediate compound. Phase 2 packages those up and gets them out of your body. But here's the problem. With TRT dumping all this into your liver now, phase 1 often runs faster than phase 2 can actually keep up with. So you end up with this pile up and backup of immediate compounds sitting in your system. And some of those are more inflammatory than the original hormone ever was. This is why some of the guys feel worse on these generic liver sups that you buy, and most of them push phase 1 harder and never touch phase 2. And here's what almost no one's gonna tell you about this. Bile isn't just for clearing anything. It's also what breaks down the fat that you eat. So when you go from a low fat to high protein diet, trying to eat clean, guess what you're actually doing? You're slowing down the exact pathway you need running faster. So here's how you get the bile flowing and the clearance moving on both ends now. Listen up. First, you don't drop below 0.3 grams of fat per pound of body weight per day. It's an exact number, but get close to it. You need real fats from whole foods like grass-fed butter, olive oil, avocados, eggs, egg yolks. And second, make sure you're getting some bitters in before meals. You got gentian root, you got dandelion, artichoke extract, a few drops in a glass of water, 10 minutes before you eat, kickstarts that bile before the food even hits your stomach. Really good secret there. Don't share it with anybody. Third, Tutka at 250 to 500 milligrams a day, and ox bile alongside it if your gallbladder or bile flow is already super sluggish. Because ox bile gives your body the actual bile acids to work with, not just the support. It's so important to ox bile. I can't stress it enough. Then you have phosphat titcholine. This is not optional if your bile is generally thick and not just slow, because Tutka and ox bile get bile moving. The phosphate is what keeps it moving smooth instead of backing it right up again into phase 2. And if it's phase 2 is actually the real bottleneck, that's the side that needs direct support. So you need calcium D, 500 milligrams with meals. It blocks all the estrogen metabolites from getting reabsorbed into your bloodstream that the liver's already got rid of. And you need TMG or a B complex with active methylfolate, B6, B12. That supports the methylation pathways that your liver uses to package those estrogen metabolites and clear them for good. If you prefer to run through the food first, well, you can use beets or dandelion root to push the same direction. Not as strong though. Okay, the gut lining's getting repaired now. The liver's clearing on both ends. Now comes the hormone that decides where all that extra fluid actually ends up. And listen carefully. Whether it lands in your face or your stomach. So section 3, we're gonna talk about estrogen and your kidneys. Now that hormone we're talking about is estrogen. Estrogen doesn't just retain water by just floating around your bloodstream, deciding where to hold fluid. It works through your liver, the same organ we just spent all that time fixing. So estrogen signals your liver to produce more of the protein called angiotensinogen. Now this basically kicks off a hormone cascade called RAAS. Now RAS has one job basically. It tells your kidneys to hold on to sodium and water. And here's the kicker. This is the exact same process behind the water retention that women get on birth control. Crazy, right? So at this stage, most guys do the obvious thing. They start cutting sodium, no salt, bland food, tracking every goddamn milligram. And the bloating, it doesn't move. Nothing changes because the kidneys were never holding water because of how much salt you ate, you idiot. They were holding water because the estrogen told them to, through your liver, no matter what's on your plate. And then a lot of guys make it even worse. They cut their water and all their electrolytes too. And since most people are already waking up dehydrated, it's a freaking disaster. Your body reads dehydration as a threat. And the same RAAS system, RAS, fires under even harder stress because now you're dehydrated. Because now your body thinks it has to clamp down on every drop it's getting. It's confused. You're triggering the exact system you're trying to shut off. So here's what actually works. Stay at 3 to 4 liters of water a day, not a drop less. And most guys are magnesium deficient already, and that deficiency alone gets worse because the water retention gets worse. And then manage estrogen at the source. Let me explain what that means. That usually means increasing your injection frequency from once or twice a week to maybe 3, 4, 5 times a week. Daily is extreme, but you may need to do it. If you want to go deeper, well, a lot of how your body handles estrogen is already written into your genes. Yeah, genetics, which is crazy, right? This is emerging stuff. This is not gospel, but here's how I think about it. There's a gene, write this down, called CYP19A1. Now, through that gene, it builds the aromatase enzyme, the same one driving everything we're talking about today. Some men carry a version that runs really hot. That's me, unfortunately. They inject and their estrogen spikes within 24, 48 hours. It sucks, trust me. Which is why one guy gets gynosensitivity and mood swings on a dose that his buddy handles just fine. If that's you, ding, 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 a single weekly injection might be the worst thing you could do for your health. Daily or every other day injections could be what keeps that spike under control. The second is a pair now. You have ESR1 and NR3C2, your estrogen and fluid receptors. Now, if these run sensitive, your body can really overreact to even a small rise in estrogen and flood the body with fluid no matter what. If that's you, your sodium needs to be really tightly managed. You need to watch the first 6 to 12 weeks at least if there's any changes happening. You can map all of this with a genetic test, but treat it as just more data points, not the whole entire enchilada, okay? Because honestly, the lifestyle factors matter the most anyway, more than your genetics anyway. That's called epigenetics. Getting your body fat down to 15% or lower is gonna be the biggest help for you. And cutting the foods that actively sabotage estrogen management, like the alcohol I talked about, the processed junk, get rid of it. That's what's actually turning down that signal that's hitting your liver in the first place. All right, guys, your gut's repaired, the liver's clearing, the kidney's no longer working against you. There's still one variable that decides how hard all 3 of these systems get hit to begin with. You guys ready? Drum roll, please. Your insulin. So let's go to section 4, insulin. Here's why I'm ending on the topic of insulin. It's not what causes bloating on its own, it's what multiplies everything else. When estrogen and bloating go unmanaged, your visceral fat holds on for dear life. And this is the problem. The visceral fat is the most insulin resistant tissue in your body. At the same time, elevated insulin raises SHBG. And when SHBG binds up, guess what happens to your free testosterone? It disappears. So now you can have great total testosterone numbers on paper and still have horrible garbage receptor sensitivity. And insulin directly signals your kidneys to hold sodium, and it's totally separate from how much salt you're actually eating. So that same backup that we trace through your gut, your liver, your kidneys is also quietly making your insulin resistance worse. It all feeds itself. Want to know where you actually stand? 3 numbers on your next panel get tested. Fasting insulin, under 5. Fasting glucose, under 90. And HOMA-IR, which is calculated from those two, under 1.0 is the goal. Above 2.0, it's a real problem. And no dose adjustment is going to be able to fix that on its own. But here's how you move those numbers. You guys ready? Resistance training, 3 to 4 to 5 times a week. Muscle is the primary site where your body disposes all that glucose. So every session is literally rebuilding your insulin sensitivity to handle insulin. And walk after meals. Shoot for 10,000, 8,000 steps a day. That alone will make a meaningful blunt on your post-meal glucose spike. And make sure you're sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night, because one bad night of sleep actually drops your insulin sensitivity the next day, no matter what you're eating. And time your carbs around your training, before and after your workouts, when your body's actually primed to use them. And stop overeating protein. I don't know where this obsession with maxing out protein came from. Protein maxing. You don't need anywhere near that amount of protein, guys. And most of you guys are forcing down way too much to build muscle. So here's my rough number. 0.8 grams per pound of lean body mass is perfectly fine, not total weight. Everything past what your body actually needs still has to get processed somewhere, which means more work for the exact gut and kidneys you've been trying to fix this whole time watching this video. So here's the bottom line. Getting those 4 variables under control is the difference between spending the rest of your life on a mediocre TRT protocol and fighting every nasty side effect, and using TRT for what it's actually built to do, getting you jacked, lean, and performing at your peak. A quick side note, these are some of the same exact principles that hundreds of my clients have used to finally take control of their health and transform their bodies. You want a completely personalized system built for your body, working directly with me and my team? There's a link in the description. Click on it and book a call. Let's go figure out what your blood work's actually telling you. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.